Hello everybody, Vigwithys here. Today I'm going to show you the one flip method on the Pyraminx. So the one flip method is very similar to the keyhole method, and the only part that's actually different is the very first part where you're actually using the keyhole on the cube, and you just replace that with doing a couple algorithms. So this does require quite a bit more memorization than the keyhole method does, and it's probably just about as difficult as learning the keyhole method all over again. However, if you do not know the keyhole method yet, I recommend checking out my tutorial. I'll have a link in the description if I remember, and that will just show you how to do a lot of the steps on this method, because really only one step is changing. So this method begins a lot like keyhole, where you get two pieces and put them in the right place, kind of like that. But during inspection, you also want to find this third piece, and then put it in backwards, so something like that. And that's where the one flip part comes in. You flip one piece. And you may wonder why you would leave this piece unflipped if you just were going to flip it back. And that actually makes it easier for doing this next step, which is orienting these three centers. And so instead of just orienting each of them intuitively, you use an algorithm to orient them. And so you find the opposite color, which in this case would be green. And so I see I have green here, here, and here. And so I would use this piece and do an algorithm on it. In this case it's this algorithm, and it would both flip over that piece and solve the rest of the three centers. And you see I just happened to get lucky on this solve and have these last step done too. And so pretty much it's just like keyhole, look through and find some pieces that you can get up during inspection. One of them flipped, find the opposite color, which in this case is yellow, recognize the case, and so then we do the case, and that piece is flipped. These pieces are in the right place, and we can just solve the last case just as we do in keyhole. And so now I'll just go through all the algorithms and show you first what they are and also how I remember them. And so in all but one of these cases, which I'll show you soon, you're gonna position the flip piece on the right, on the front of course, and then you'll just position the bottom layer in a certain way that I tell you how to do it, and then you'll just do the algorithm. And so there are four categories of algorithms. One of them when none of the pieces are mixed up, another one when only one of them is mixed up, another one when two of them, and another one when all of them are mixed up. And so now for the first category, there's actually only one algorithm in this category, and so this is when all of them are solved, and it doesn't matter which way you position it, it just matters that this piece is on the right, as with most of these. And so what you do is you just do the algorithm LR prime, L prime, R, L prime, U, L. And so it's pretty easy in this category to remember which algorithm goes with which case, because of course there's only one case. And this algorithm is pretty similar to the two flip algorithm in that it flips these two pieces instead of the normal one that flips these two pieces. So you just kind of move on that and then move on that without the U prime because you don't really need it. And so for the next category, you'll just have one of them that needs to be rotated, this one right here. And what you'll do is you position the bottom color, so in this case it's yellow, on the front. And so if that color happens to be on the right when you do that, you hold this piece on the right, the flipped up piece, and you do this algorithm, R prime, U, R, L, R prime, L prime. And so if that piece happens to be on the left side, this is the one algorithm that you actually have to have this piece on the left side. You do L, U prime, L prime, R prime, L, R. And so that category is probably one of the hardest one to remember the algorithm on. What I just kind of do is you just kind of alternating R moves, so R prime, R prime, in between U and L moves. And so another way I like to remember it is you just bring that down, that over, and then bring that piece back up into its spot. You bring this piece around, that, and that. And then it's just kind of mirrored if you do it on the other side. It's kind of hard to remember, and you just kind of have to memorize it. Okay, now for this next category, we have two pieces that need to kind of rotate around. And I'm going to kind of break this category in half, two sets of two. And the first set that I'm going to show you, we have one piece, kind of a skip piece, and then another piece. And then both of these cases start with this piece on the right, and these two pieces that need to be rotated also on the right. Okay, now for the first case, we just have this piece which is kind of in the back, it's not on the front, and then this piece which is also kind of in the left back. We just do R, D prime, R. And then for this one, again, we just have these two pieces, but this one's kind of in the front right, and this one's kind of in the back right. And so for this one, we actually have to do a little bit of a setup move, D prime, then we do R prime, D, R prime. And so for this case, I actually recognize it a little bit differently than I showed you the algorithm for. I kind of hold these two in the front, and I see which one is on the front. and then that one I move the piece over, bring that down, move that down, and that in place, and that kind of works the same way for the other one. And then for this next kind of subcategory of pieces, again we just have these two that need to be switched, but instead of having kind of a 1 block gap in between, they're either right next to each other or 2 blocks away, like kind of across from each other. Then so what you do if they're next to each other is you kind of hold them in the front like this, then you do R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime. And then what you do for the other case, where they're kind of in the back like this, you do R prime, D, R, D prime, R prime, D, R. And so what I do to recognize these is I kind of think of these as the same case, and what I do is I just slowly move them back in an inefficient way back towards their place. So what I do is I bring it down so it's kind of not in the right spot but close to it, and then bring it around, bring that one also kind of to the right spot but not really, and then I finally move this one down into the right spot, and then I also move this one down to the right spot. And it kind of just works the same way, except turning it like this, of course if the D moves in between, for the other case. And now for the last category, we have no pieces that are correct, and all of them need to be kind of switched around, and we'll break this up into 2 kind of subcategories of 2 as well. And so for the first and most basic subcategory in this category, we have all of them kind of in the same place relative to each other. It's kind of rotationally symmetric, and you see no matter how you rotate it, it's always on the right for this first case, and it's kind of also going clockwise like this. And so you hold this piece on the right, and what you do is R prime, D prime, R prime, D prime, R prime. And so what you do for the opposite of that, where it's always kind of on the left and it's kind of going counterclockwise, you do R, D, R, D, R. And so the way I recognize these 2 cases, they're kind of the same to me as well. I just bring one of the pieces with the flipped piece down into the right position, and then I rotate it away from that piece that I just brought down. That, and I've just fixed all of them. And I just do that the same but opposite with the other one, just recognizing it the exact same way. And so now for the next subcategory, we also have these 3 pieces that need to be rotated, but for this one they're kind of grouped up together, and then one of them's kind of alone. And so if the alone piece is on the right, you have these other 2 pieces on the left, and of course this piece on the right. You do R prime, D prime, R, D prime, R prime. And then for the opposite case, where you also have these 2 pieces on the left and this one in the kind of the back but still right, and this piece of course also on the right, we do R, D, R prime, D, R. And so these algorithms are pretty much the same as in the other subcategory, only one of the R moves is different, and so it kind of matters which piece that you started on. And so you always start it on the lonely piece away from the other 2, and you always position these 2 on the back, and you do move it down into its right spot, move it away from that piece, and then just fix the other 2. So it's kind of just the same thing as the other subcategory. And that's pretty much it for the one flip method. You just kind of from here line everything up and solve it just as you did in Keyhole. And that's pretty much it for this video. So if you like this video, leave a like down below. If it helped you at all, just leave a like. And if the video didn't help you, definitely make sure to leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to clarify anything that you need help with. And if you have any suggestions for future videos like this, leave a comment down below and I'll also consider all those. And make sure to subscribe if you want to be notified when a future video like this comes out. And if you have any other questions or comments, leave those in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time.